Hello and welcome to your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 5th of July, 2015. The moon today is in the early portion of the sign of Pisces, and over the course of the day will be making its way through the nakshatra of Shatabhisha. So the question for you today is, how can you ever expect to see if you won't open your eyes? How can you ever hope to experience the level of joy you desire if you will not take a chance on opening your heart, even if opening your heart means that there is a potential for feeling further pain? And how can you ever hope to receive the abundance that the universe has to offer you if you won't first surrender? You're dealing with a tricky situation today. You might even say you're dealing with a crisis, but in dealing with that crisis, the appropriate way to handle the situation is by letting go of your handle on the situation. The more you try to control the set of circumstances that you're dealing with, chances are the worse things are going to be today. And we obviously don't want that, do we? Right? Sometimes it's hard for us to recognize that, power can quite often come to us, and also our ability to see a situation more clearly can also come to us through confronting our vulnerabilities. And by confronting our vulnerabilities, I don't mean taking a look at them and going, oh, well, I'm just going to put all of that to one side. No, I mean just the opposite. I mean allowing yourself to explore those emotions, allowing yourself to feel those feelings. Because often we're blocking so much out. We're putting up, the blinders so that we can just soldier on in life. And the answer today doesn't lie in trying to soldier on and thereby trying to conquer a situation. Instead, it lies through surrendering and exploring those feelings of vulnerability. Because through doing so, a cleansing will take place, and you'll be able to see more clearly. And the things that you were blocking yourself from tapping into, which is your own potential, your own power, and your own ability to be honest with yourself, all of those things will naturally be restored. But you have to go through the shift first. You have to go through the confrontation first. And that's what we most fear. So instead of going into that, we go, well, I don't have time with that. I can't place myself in such a vulnerable situation because I have to get on with this, that, or the other thing today. And then what ends up happening? You end up with a day where you have no choice but to do those things, right? The lunar Tithi today is Krishna Chaturthi. It's the 4th day of the dark half of the moon. Krishna Chaturthi is associated with Yama and Ganesh. Yama dealing with the concept of discipline, control. He's the god of death, but he also is associated with restraining oneself. Ganesha obviously being about prosperity and abundance, but that abundance comes through walking the right path. And there can be difficulty today in restraining yourself and holding yourself back from attempting to gain control of a situation. Let's take a brief look at the energy of Shatabhisha and see if we can gain a deeper understanding of that as well too. It's connected with Varuna, the god of the oceans. The closest equivalent that most of us understand is Neptune, right? With Varuna, Varuna is in charge of universal law. He reveals things, but first by obscuring them. He makes us go through a process, and through that process, things become clearer. I often like using the analogy of a cold, right? When you catch a cold, you're catching a bug. And in order to cleanse that bug out of your system, you have to go through the illness, right? And it's a similar thing with Shatabhisha. A calamity arises, a healing crisis occurs, but that's so that we can cleanse something out, and so that we can tap more deeply into our potential, which is the most important thing as a human entity, tapping into your potential, recognizing who you are, and living your life from that space. The solar lunar yoga today is Ayushman, which means life possessing. So quite likely there's going to be a desire to put one's vulnerability to one side because you're dealing with something that you perceive to be like the most all-encompassing thing, the most important thing in your life, and you are going to likely want to try to seize control of that situation to make it turn out a certain way, when really the best thing to do is to, just kind of take a look at what you're feeling inside of yourself that might be, compelling those feelings. Instead, explore that vulnerability, explore what you're afraid of, go through that, let yourself have those feelings. Don't let yourself be ruled by those feelings, but let yourself explore those feelings, because the other side of that, that's where the strength comes from. That's where the prosperity comes from. And it's all yours to tap into. But first, you've got to not think that you're the one who's in charge, because you're not. Now, obviously, this can apply to any area of your life. And for me to have a deeper understanding of what that might be, I would need to take a look at your birth chart in particular. You can tap into that particular opportunity, if you wish, by going to my astrological services page. There's a link to that lower down in this video, and also further down in the description area of this YouTube video as well. Also, I am teaching a course on the foundations of Vedic astrology. For those of you who are interested, there should be a link in the right-hand corner of this video for that, if you'd like a little more information on that. That starts on August 2nd, and there are 24 positions available on the course for those of you who are interested. Later on this autumn, you can look for a full-length video course on the nakshatras with fellow astrologer Ryan Korzak. That's going to do it for your Vedic Lunar Scope for today. Until tomorrow, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.